the Democrats have a candidate?
I've not seen this official, but I was contacted yesterday and said that Joe Donnelly's going to run. I don't know.
Well, I heard a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat said, I can't wait to vote for Lugar. I'm going to cross over. And I wondered if that'll hurt our chances.
Well, I can see why they'd vote for him, because he's more liberal than Joe Donnelly is, or any Democrat. But let him. We can't stop that. So all we have to do is work hard, very, very hard, make sure that we have more than enough votes to cover any scenario, whether it's fraud or Democrats messing up our primary, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you can scrape 350,000 votes that voted for him last time, he'll lose, and he'll lose historic figures. And here's another thing you need to consider. I doubt it. I've met the man. I think he's arrogant. But what if Senator Lugar reads the writing on the wall? What if he actually retires? And all of us immediately endorse Richard Murdoch today or tomorrow. And Lugar retires in June or July or August. You just there's going to be 10 candidates around then. So how do you know that he was the guy? So that's another reason not to endorse yet. Make him earn it. Make sure it's still really early in the game. But a lot can happen and probably will happen between now and then. And we picked September because we don't want to wait till next year. I think it's not enough time to help that candidate win. Right. But it's late enough in the process that you've probably got a lot of the candidates out that are going to come out. There still may be one or two. I mean, look at last senatorial election. When did Coates come out? In January of that same year? And I don't think you're going to get a big name on this election because they're not going to come out to challenge Lugar. I mean, some people say, well, Mike Pence. Mike Pence is not going to go after Richard Lugar. It's just not going to happen. It's not smart. He wouldn't do that. It's all risk, no gain. Mike Pence is probably going to run for governor, so you're not going to have a big name go after Lugar, but it may be a name you know, a local name, an Indiana name, but it's not going to be a former senator or some big guy that we've all heard about. It won't happen.
Indiana needs a law that forces runoff so that you have to have a majority.
Yeah, when I was on the platform committee and the night before the state convention last June, that there were a couple of people floated that. I don't know what you'd even call it, more like a proposal, and they're toying with the idea. But sometimes in Indiana politics it can take 20 years to get a good idea out. But yeah, we do. It's our laws are fairly antiquated on that. But that's why then if you had 10 challengers in a race, you'd have runoffs. And my congressman, who I like, he's conservative, he has been there a long time, but he had 7 challengers last year, and he won with 30% of the vote, and he won. And he only won by about 2,200 votes. That's a pretty thin margin, but he won because there's so many other guys beating up on each other. We have the same thing in this election with the senator, but we can't prevent that, and in fact it's illegal to try to thwart the political process. So, but what we can do is be organized, and we have a powerful voting bloc, and you guys, you get on board and you work and you make a little noise and so forth, they'll come to you. And when I say they, you'll be surprised who will call you. I freely give out my cell number, but I'm not hardly a day go by, certainly a week, that people call me that I don't know why they call me, other than I work hard. I'm not more influential than any of you guys. I have one vote, my vote, period. But I had a guy about a month ago called me, another guy from Washington, D.C., and it was no other than Dave McIntosh, if you guys remember that name.
Yep.
He wanted to sit down and have lunch with me. Well, why? I just want to talk conservative stuff. Well, he's thinking about maybe running for the 6th District if a certain 6th District congressman runs for governor. Well, go figure that. Well, why did he call me? I'm one of you guys. I'm not that influential, really. I'm vocal, and I work hard, and I'm tenacious. Well, he came because he thought maybe I had a little clout, but all you guys have the same clout. I told him that. I said, in your district, if you run for the 6th, you're going to have to work that district. I can't even vote for you. I'm in the 5th, and I don't care how they change the map. I'm still going to be in the 5th, period. I'm solidly in the 5th. Now, I don't know what the 6th will look like, but that race is going to open up probably 10 or 12 new guys. Maybe Don Bates Jr., but the rest of them are going to be pretty new guys. Well, Dave McIntosh too, but I told Dave, I said, you just have to go earn it. But my point is, this is very serious stakes that we're dealing with. It's not fun when you realize what's at stake. What's at stake is our country. But what does make it tolerable or palpable is that the fact that people call you, and you know, when they call you, you know you've got muscle, not us, but the movement. We have political muscle, and we need to flex it and use it frequently, because they are all our employees, all of them. Hold them accountable. And we will win, and we will win the country when you remember that and who's truly in the driver's seat. Right now, it doesn't feel like we are, but we all band together. They can't come after all of us. They can't, and they won't. We'll win. So do it. Have fun with it, be passionate about it, and you'll see the results. And, you know, every one of you guys are in it because you want to save the country. Not one of you get paid for it, and it comes out of your pocket. We all have those little donation jars. I'm no different. And the 10 times I've been to Washington, D.C., I went out on my own time and my own dime and my wallet. I'm a small businessman, but when I say small, I'm really small, 10 employees. And it used to be 15 until fall of 2008. So I, like everyone else, have been hurt by this, but I decided I'm fighting back peacefully, because we're not going to win violently. They will win, but peacefully we'll destroy them, and we'll get our country back. So have fun with it, do what you can. And the only reason I went to Washington, I may not be the smartest guy in the world, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to take, the beast is in Washington. I'm going to take that fight to the belly of the beast. I'm going after those guys there. I'm going to go call out the ones that have caused this. And I'm going to try to find friends that I think more or less our values overlap, and bring them to Indiana for us. And it's worked. And I mean, it's not that. I was just amazed at how many people were receptive. And some of the people that have called me, again, when I first got invited to Freedom Work meeting, I was one of 60 people in the nation, and I don't know how they knew me. I really don't. I don't know why they invited me, because I was really just nobody, really, just a Tea Party guy. I wasn't even causing that much trouble at the time, so, but I used that, I worked that connection, and then they saw the value of coming to Indiana. Indiana's not a big state, we know that. Population, geography, the whole thing. Even wealth, it's just not. And they don't have a chapter here, but they're wanting to come here and spend a lot of money. And we work hard. We may actually have a state chapter in Indiana. They do the big, you know, the glorious states like Florida and California and so forth. But they are really interested in Indiana. In fact, the whole nation is, and it's going to stay on us till 2012 May, because why? We have a governor who might run for president. He's done a pretty good job in Indiana, at least fiscally. You have to give him that. You know, some people argue about the social thing, and that's fine. But we have him. We have Mike Pence, and we have the Tea Party going after Senator Lugar. It's a great story. And the press is coming here, and they're coming off, and then they'll call every one of you guys eventually. Just make them talk to them. Don't be afraid of them. Right now, I'll tell you one thing: the liberal press, and most of them are, as we know, liberal. But right now, they're our friends, because they want Lugar gone too. When you have a Republican who acts like a Democrat, or would you rather have, if you were Democrat or liberal, would you really want the one with the D at the end of his name? They're always going to pick that. So they have the same goal as we do right now. They want to beat Lugar. So let's use them. You know, they might think they're using me. I think I'm using them. So they're printing it. The nation's looking at, people are coming to Indiana, they're calling here, and eventually we'll be able to, you've heard of the money bombs, like Marco Rubio out of Florida. You know how much money he got? 80% of all the money he raised was from other states, individuals. We can do the same thing here, and we're going to have to do that to beat Lugar. You'll have 10 or 12, like I said, a very wealthy individual told me 10 or 12 million is what they're going to have to spend to defend that seat. 10 or 12 million. It's a lot of money. But I think we could win in 2 or 3 million if we work the ground. They won't. They won't work as hard as we will, period. So we'll win it other ways. We're not going to raise 10 or 12, but we can raise 3, 5, 7. I even had talked to the Tea Party Express, and they'll vet and put money behind a candidate too. So we've got Tea Party Express, Club for Growth, and even Freedom Works that may all be on board. And between those three, they'll bring $5 or $6 million to Indiana, plus whatever we can raise for the candidates.